So I have got the biggest grin on my face. I say this every time, but I can't tell you how much I love interacting with you amazing people. So it's the 6th of January. So I'm going to say happy birthday to my nephew, Alex. It was a big day last year, 6th of January. It was meant to be a big day this year. And it is a big day because my beautiful, beautiful co-host, Brice, and I, Brice from Esoteric Atlanta, we are launching today our Discover Your Passion series. And when we were thinking about who we wanted on our first show, the unanimous decision was the amazing Morne Venter. Now, have I said your name right?
Morne is good, and then it's like Venter. It's very Afrikaans.
I'm hopeless with names, absolutely hopeless.
Me too. I'm hopeless with names completely as well, so I will not. I mean, on our channel as well, I get all kinds of pronunciations and spellings, but yeah, I love any. It's good enough. I like Morne. Some people call it Morne with an A and a Y at the end, so it's like Morne, and that's how my grandma actually spells my name till this day.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And Brice has got an exotic name as well. And I notice you get all sorts of spelling of yours. And mine is Catherine, so I might have to make something more exotic up than Catherine.
We can change its spelling around. Yeah, my name actually is my mother's maiden name, which is a big thing to do here in the South. And it's actually French. It's actually Brice. But when they came over from France, like a couple hundred, however many years ago, they adapted the English pronunciation, which is Brice. So Brice is the name now, but with the Y, that's the Scottish version, but with the I, it's Brice, which is French. And I always hated my name because when I went to camp, sleepaway camp as a little kid, they would like put you in the boys side because they thought I was a boy. But then as I got older, I probably wouldn't mind that. But as a little kid, I thought that was not fair. But yes, we have cool names though. And Catherine, we could make some really interesting spelling for yours,
exactly.
like what the hip hop artists do.
Catherine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
So the reason why Brice and I we have loads of chats off camera, and we were just saying we love the fact of all the interesting people that we've met in this journey, including everyone who comments, seeing the amazing people sort of in there. And what we wanted to do moving forward into 2022 is just explore that people's different passions and skills, because we all know that everyone has got a unique gift. And sometimes as we get older, we have that suppressed. You know, the children just, if you ask a young child what they want to be when they grow up, they'll come up with all sorts of things. And there's no judgment in terms of one's better than the other. They're passionate about all of it. But as we grow up, we can have some of this knocked out of us. So we know that when on a daily basis you do something that really brings you joy, everything around you changes. So, you know, I can have had some bad news or a bad mood, and I'll hop on a video with Brice, and then suddenly the world's great again because you're so uplifting and positive about everything. So you have got a very, very special passion. I'm sure you've got more than one, but the one that we were going to be speaking about today predominantly was your fire dancing.
Oh, yes.
And well, I knew nothing about it. So I want to know everything about it.
Well, okay, firstly, I just want to say thank you guys for inviting me. When I got that message, I was like, awesome. And when I heard about the subject matter, I'm like, okay, the universe, God is like putting me somewhere there. And since you invited me, the word passion, I've been really reflecting on that word a lot, and how it's very much connected with everything inside of you. And I didn't want to go look at the definition of that. I wanted to go look at my understanding, the feeling of that. And Catherine, when we last spoke together on your channel as well, you brought out the word mystery and really clicked with me. It's like when we try to find the answer, like on an intellectual level, it's almost like, okay, cool, now you think you sort it out and you have it and you understand it, but it keeps you limited from really experiencing more. There could be something more to it, which is not intellectual. So I really went into that feeling of passion. And for me, it's dancing, you know, dancing, creating, expressing yourself, connecting, and not just connecting with yourself, obviously with connecting with God, connecting with each other, connecting with animals. So I always had this passion of connecting and expressing myself. I always wanted to share all this joy and love that's inside of me, because I felt I've been born with passion. I've always had this passion inside of me, and I just felt I needed to do, and that's why God blessed me with a lot of gifts. And because God knew I'm going to have a rough road ahead of me, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to give you a lot of gifts and you can play with it. So it's those interests that you find inspirations from. So this could be drawing. I love drawing, singing, dancing, animals, nature. I always felt like the little outsider boy in my life. So I always went into nature. I always brought animals home, lots of animals. My parents hated it. My parents like, not one more animal. Okay, I won't do 3 days later. Oh, look at this little lizard. So I felt like the curiosity as a child, the curiosity in life, really searching for your passion. That probably was the process of searching for your passion, is to be curious. Be curious to the things that you love. Maybe there's something you don't even know that you love, and you might like it, And for me, it's always been like, I knew all this stuff when I was born, but I couldn't see people seeing this stuff as well. I felt like people couldn't see that, my parents and stuff like that. So I always felt like I could rip out this feeling inside of me and put it inside my mother or my sibling. It's just like, feel that. So with dancing and singing and art, creating, expressing myself, that's where I really developed that gift inside of me. I always want to say, sorry.
They're sharing their passions.
Yes,
So I would, for me, that would be to go connect with God, with myself, and just sitting and drawing. That you go into that space where you just connect, not necessarily consciously with God, maybe, or with Source, but you go into that space and you dance and you move. You're just in connection with yourself. You're like completely in this alignment. Suddenly you don't think about things. Suddenly it's just, you're in this space of connection. That's the only words I can find for it. And then if you had a feeling you were frustrated at school, or you were frustrated that your mother is not hearing you, or your father is not calling, whatever the reason be, then you just express it. Either you sing a song, or I dance in my room and I'll do all kinds of moves. And that's the way that got me through it. So that dancing and singing and creating got me through a lot of things in life. And I think with everybody in this world, I mean, if we didn't have like things we loved as kids, luckily as kids, we were connected with the things we love. Some more than others, but those moments that you actually do it, then you overcome difficulties and you connect again and you go back and you find that passion. But I think passion without purpose and passion kind of goes head to head.
Yeah.
So you have to feel like what you're doing has a little purpose. For me, it was to inspire people. For me, it was also, so inspire people or wanting attention as a little kid. Once I did it for attention, the passion went away. I lost it. And once I did it to inspire, it fueled.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Morne, in terms of when we do something for anyone other than ourselves like that, do you think it loses some of its authenticity, or brings in the vulnerability of caring what other people think?
Yeah, I would say that, but not necessarily because you want to do it for somebody else. It's the integrity behind it.
Yeah.
Is it because you want acknowledgement or attention, or do you want that person to be inspired and uplifted? So when you do it from a place, I want to really inspire these people right now. So I want to put up a nice show or something like that. That's beautiful, because then you see those people ignite. Because art really, art inspires people, ignites the passion in people. If people see somebody sing on stage or dance this beautiful dance, that sparks something inside of them. That divine spark of God activates within them, and they really like start feeling stuff.
Yes.
As an artist, you can actually just ignite that spark yourself. But for most people that live a mundane life, it's almost like their addiction sometimes, you know. That's why they like to get, that's why they get hooked with like modern, like Beyonce and stuff like that, because they ignite sparks, but it's not the spark you want get ignited within you, because they will just invert that spark. But I mean, that's what art brings out of people. But if you do it in a way for attention and stuff like that, you lose passion. It doesn't make sense. I can remember when I started going into the corporate world, I was always like, I always told my parents, I don't give a hell. I'm going to do what I love and make money. I'm not going to do something that you think I should do or do. And eventually I did, and I studied animation. But anyways, in the corporate world, working for doing stuff that's not in your integrity, like making an advert for a hunting farm, a trophy hunting farm, you know. Not in the world will I do that. And I stood my ground, and actually I got away with it. The only person that got away with, I don't want to do certain things, but I used my gifts not in a purposeful way anymore. And in that sense, my passion went away. It went completely away. So it's not necessarily doing what you love all the time. It has to have purpose. You have to have it has to have purpose, either way, to inspire and connect, so that you can connect with source, like you just dance because that's what's beautiful for you, or you dance to inspire and make it whatever. But if it goes to a place where you feel like you have to do it for some other company who doesn't respect this, or you have to do it just for money, or then you lose that gift, that love that you have for something, just
it's almost like that passion in your soul that God gives you when you have to like swallow your integrity and use it to make money. It's almost like selling your soul, pieces of your soul a little bit. And I think you're right. I think that people start getting burnt out. All of a sudden that ignition is that fire is gone. But it's interesting you were saying that about connecting with God, and even the Yoga Sutras talk about like in the Om being the name of God, because it's a vibration. You know, we call God, but God, there's a beginning and an end, but God has no, but it's that vibration. When you say the Om, you feel it. And so when you're in that flow of igniting that God-given passion or talent, whatever it may be, you're actually living that vibration. And it's like you talk about performing, and it's like, you know, with some people, they perform for their ego, to be praised, but others perform to share. Share. They don't see themselves as better than, they're trying to share with humans. And I think that's a huge difference too, is that, you know, when you do start to compromise the passion, and it does become more of a stepping stone of ego praise versus celebrating the vibration of God.
Yeah, you say it so beautifully. It's that sharing. That's that sharing. It's that connecting, wanting to give. I can remember when I was a little boy, I was like, I don't know how young I was, but I can remember my parents were fighting in the house. It's probably before 7, 6, around there. And it only took me many years, I must say, since I met Chantal as well. Chantal really helped me to really go deep in this stuff. It took me like many years to just go back deep, digging, trying to see everything, and finding all my treasures inside that I could really remember beyond that point of 7. Because I believe as a kid, you came in here all knowing. And you knew, you were so aware. You knew exactly what coping mechanisms you have to activate, at what point, what button to push, where to put, like everything exactly before that 6, 7 year mark, where you're going to forget everything and you're going to start growing your ego and become self, you know, that beautiful. And okay, now let's do this human thing.
The matrix. Yeah.
So anyway, so it took me a long time to get to that place. I really needed to really understand why I felt how I felt, why I felt about my mother, father, myself, siblings, everything. So, and once I get to that place, I can remember sitting with God. I was sitting outside with my daughter, with God, and I was like, how are we going to help these people? Talking to my family. How are we going to help these people?
That's adorable, though.
It is frightening, isn't it? When what you were both saying then, it's like we've spoken so much on various different angles over the last year about, you know, the education system, the medical system, the sickness system rather than healthcare system, every system that we would, political system, the financial system. And it's so interesting to see how as you grow up and go through these stages, you know, being a mum myself, I can see the changes in my children when they then started going through the schooling system, and how so much of their joy basically got pulled out of them because you're so forced to conform into something that's not yourself, and the competitive side of things, and that how early the jealousy kicks in, and that doesn't come from the children, it comes from the reaction of the adults to the children. And you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but when you talk about your dancing, Morne, was there a stage in your life where you sort of got self-conscious about it at all, or did you never have that problem?
Yeah, let me continue with that. It's so it's about, for me, what's always about how can I connect with how can I help my family? So it was about how can I talk with them, how can I connect with them, because they didn't give me the words, because as a young kid you don't have the words. I mean, they give you their language.
Yeah.
You don't have, I can't speak like, okay, you are feeling insecure because you're scared of that, and you're scared of her husband, and you blah, blah, blah. So as a kid, you can't really give them the words why they, so you try to connect with them in a different way. And that for me was like drawing them a picture, dancing, singing. And I've never felt insecure as a kid. Never, never, never. My older brother hated me because I could sing on that mic and the whole neighborhood will hear Morne is singing again in the neighborhood. It's like, before my throat broke, so I was singing Celine Dion. Very loud. So you never get that. I luckily was very stubborn. I was stubborn. I was so stubborn. I was so, because I knew what I had in God, in source inside of me, I have not one moment doubted my gifts or thought it's less than that or anything. And that's where actually I get very competitive in that level as well. So I always try to push myself more. But you're always, I mean, self-consciousness is always a thing that comes in now and again. I mean, you're always going to have self-consciousness, and then it always blocks you a little bit. But luckily, I don't think I always like, I just pushed through. I did it. It's like, once I do it, it's almost like I'm not me. It's like when I was a little boy, drawing pictures for people in the class, and I drew it for all the girls' pictures. Anybody who has a request, pictures. It's always never felt like it was me. If somebody says you're drawing a beautiful picture right now, it didn't feel like, I felt like very like, okay, fine, how do I handle this? Because it never felt like I was drawing this stuff. It was like there was something out of me, God. I felt like it was God drawing, you know, it's if I can explain it in that way. I always felt like I'm just moving my hand. I'm just moving my body. It's not something that I didn't have to work hard for this stuff. I didn't really have to work hard for this stuff. I really was blessed. And again, I say it because I had a lot of stuff. I had 7 planets in retrograde when I was born.
Wow.
So I had a lot of stuff that I need to deal with, which could be like a lot of shows to talk about. But I was blessed with like just having my art, loving animals, connecting with nature. And I had a passion to make this world a better place. I didn't know how, I don't know how. And since we started the Sun Kids, actually, with Chantal, we do the Sun Kids, Sun Kids project since way back, like 11, 12, even longer. That's when I really found purpose in my passion. Actually, before even that, when I studied animation, I started giving art classes for a rural area, people that's like in this squatters, and it's like very, very poor people. I was approached to do art classes and Afrikaans classes. Now, Afrikaans, my home language, is my worst subject. I got like, anyways, I was so happy and I started doing it. And I had an exam in animation that I just neglected because I have art classes and Afrikaans classes with these kids tomorrow. And then I found this passion for kids because, okay, I had passion for animals, but kids are the same. And only as an adult, I realized, oh, kids are cool. So I put them into the same thing. And when I went back to Namibia, I also started art classes for kids with AIDS as well. So I was like, really, when I started working with kids and eventually doing the animal communication, when I do animal communication for the kids and the animals, that's when I really felt like, okay, now I'm doing what I'm passionate about: creativity, connections, connecting and expressing yourself. That's when I really found my passion growing and my purpose really fulfilling.
Wow.
Yeah, because I mean, the first, I'm just thinking now, the first time I did my first animal communication for kids, that was in 2014. That was like, when I finished it, I was like, this is a dream coming true that I didn't even know I had a dream about.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to dream about it. But bringing that together, helping kids to express themselves and connect with animals, and animals expressing themselves, and that connection, that is what all the creativity is all about. Dancing, art, it's all about that connection, that blissful connection where suddenly creativity bursts and suddenly you're experiencing something that you even didn't knew you could experience. I recommend to every person in this world to just start coloring in. If you're not an artist or something, just coloring in, just express yourself, use some colors in your life. That already opens up so much things for any person. Start dancing as well. Everybody can dance. Everybody can dance. Start boogie in your room if you must. I just think everybody can dance. Everybody can sing. Everybody can draw. If you just had the right support when you were growing up, or the right tools. But I believe everybody can do this stuff.
Every morning,
yeah.
Every morning I get up. I get super early to do my yoga practice, but before I ever get on my mat, for at least an hour, I will dance around my living room listening to Broadway show tunes. I think I'm a tap dancing legend. I think I'm like winning a Tony. I don't know, but it just breathes me though, and it you know, the 38-year-old man is like, oh, I'm just warming my body up, it's fine. But no, that's my favorite time of day, from like 4 to 5 a.m. My dog thinks I'm batshit crazy, but but that is something. So yeah, nobody's, well, I'm sure my spirit guides are probably laughing, but nobody else sees me, you know. And it's so freeing, and that being able to move to the music, to hear the voices, the strong powerful voices, and that I believe people have coding in their voices too. So there's that that power there. That so yes, I agree with you. Just start dancing. Nobody's watching.
It's funny. The British have got the reputation for being the worst dancers ever, but that's because we're told from such an early age that we can't do it. But also, very much when I was growing up, the arts weren't valued at all. It was all science sort of thing, and the arts were very much what you did if you couldn't do anything else. And it's just absolutely appalling, you know. It really is. Now I look back now, at the time, these things become normal because everyone's reacting like that, but now it's very, very different, and I see there's a lot more awareness about how important it is to allow people of all ages to express themselves. And my favorite time dancing, my horses love it. I dance out in the fields with them, and they join in, and we have such fun. It's absolutely brilliant to see, because they love it. Because when you do just let go and do that, your whole energy changes, your whole energy field completely changes and opens up. And Morne, you were saying just before we sort of hit the record button about opening up your heart space and your heart energy. Can you speak to that a bit?
Yeah, exactly. When you do something that you love, and it's what did I say again? Sorry. It was about finding the inspiration and doing things that you love. So finding that curiosity, always being curious, and what you said on the previous, stay in the mystery, be curious, and follow that inspiration. Once inspiration, you do it, and do the thing, do it with love, and then suddenly it just opens up the heart chakra completely. And that's what we are entering into this world now. I think as a civilization, I think we've never been here. If it was thousands and thousands, I don't know how many civilizations we've been before, but we've never advanced to this level where we're opening up our hearts. We've always just stayed in these lower vibration chakras of pleasures or feelings and desires, not love. Love is for me, love is, it's not a feeling. Love is like, it's this opening up of the heart. A feeling for me is more like sadness or anger or jealousy. That for me is feelings. Love is something completely other for me, completely different. It's when all those energy combines, the inspiration, the passion, the purpose, and everything comes up and it explodes through your heart. And that's only the thing that you get when you truly express yourself. And as a human species, we are scared to express ourselves. We don't know how to express yourself. We adjust how we express yourself. It's so finding your own voice. It's not just finding your own voice. It's finding your truth.
Yeah.
And for every person, it's very difficult to find your truth because everybody tells you what truth is. And so you have to go in. We have to go back inside and go find out where's the desires, where's the inspirations, what ticks, what makes you tick, why you feel a different, why do you feel something, and why do you not, blah, blah, blah. So you have to go really understand yourself and go find your truth within. And that's when you have to go into those dark places inside of you and just finally go. I mean, like, I can remember in the last 12 years, I've gone down this same path so many times, and they're like, Morne, stop scratching the same saw. It's like, enough, stop scratching that one. So I had to learn that. And then there's also one of those that you had to learn, okay, this one that you thought was healed, there's still some chachachutas. Chacha is like nasty stuff still inside. So you have to go cut that thing open again and go look inside again. So the more we go, we want to understand yourself. You have to get to know yourself, and nobody's going to give you that truth. And because that's your truth, and that's the only way you're going to express your truth is if you really do that inner work, that alchemy and all that stuff. And that's how you're going to get to that place where your heart just grows open, open, open. Once it bursts open and you can express yourself, that's where the magic happens. And dancing and singing and drawing. I mean, my goodness, I can remember my curiosity to like, just, I want to know everything, the mystery of life. And when I went to go study animation, God actually taught me numerology. I didn't even know it existed. I just was at this place and I was like starting to write, okay, but there's ones and twos, you know, 1, 2, 1 plus, it's me and you, and together we're 2, me and you. It's like, I started realizing certain things like add up to each other. I started putting emotions to that. I started putting everything together. I was like, oh my goodness, what am I discovering right now? I felt like a mad scientist. And then I went onto the internet, and then I just realized, okay, it's numerology. It already exists. It's like, oh my goodness.
You learned it organically through your passion.
Yeah, exactly. Through my passion, just connecting with God. God, I mean, I was a very young boy. I danced in the church. That's actually, I made old men cry. And I always had this, I was always connected with God. It's like, I never lost that connection. Instead, I was like, okay, I will do this. I will do this. You stay on the side. I had moments of rebellion. Let's say that. But I never felt like disconnected from God in my life. Disconnected from myself, yes. Lost my passion a few times, yes. Cried out for God, like, okay, now I need your help. But I always felt like, okay, I need to do this myself as well, you know. I can't always have your help in my back. I need to do this myself.
Like sorry, carry on.
I think most people do that.
Yeah, most people do. Now, you've just hit on something really important that I think is a lot of people watching this will be feeling. You said a few times you lost your passion or lost your connection for your passion. So what have you learned through your journey about where people, so if you've got people watching this that sort of feel, God, I just don't know what my passion is anymore, it's been so disconnected for so long, what advice can you give to people to actually start finding and exploring this again?
Well, go look back again at the things that you used to love.
Mm.
Definitely go find the love again. Love guides us. Love is like the light that we need. So go find, even if it's little things, go find those little things that you love and then feed that flame. Passion needs to be fueled. It's not just something you just have to go do it. So it's not just finding the things, you have to do it then. So yeah. Even if it's just coloring in, like I said, just start coloring in, because passion, you have to connect with yourself back again. So go back to yourself, and coloring in helps, because when you're in that space of coloring in, you're just sitting with yourself and you're just feeling with colors. Colors are the rainbows, the white light of God split into its beauty. So go play with God's light, go sit in coloring in. I mean, that's one thing. But anything that you might think, maybe you enjoyed horses, then go to horse France and go experience horses again. Just go back to a place where you start feeling that love, and allow God, allow the feeling to arise, and just remember what you're passionate about. Because everybody, it's not like you forgot it. It's just you've not connected with it in a long time. And through love and your intention to connect back to it, I think that will just give you that moment. So go find that moment where you can just feel the love that something that you've done, a place that you have visited, a thing that you've done. But I think just go find the spark of love somewhere. Watch an old movie, see an old performance. I don't know. It's like whatever you feel guided to it. But I think if you put your mind onto it, if your intention is to go find it, that is the first step. Just make the decision, I want to find my passion again. Once you make that decision, I believe everything starts falling into place. Then just be open to whatever it is. And stay in the mystery, Catherine. Stay in the mystery. It might be something new.
In the mystery.
It might be something new. Might be telling you to do something new.
This whole thing, this whole time, I used to love to write. A long time as an adult, I'd write. As a kid, we would have to write these stories, and I won some awards as a kid. And as you were talking about that, I was thinking about how many children have these like wild imaginations that adults try to squash. And instead of squashing, if you had a wild imagination as a child, who knows, start writing again, start creating those stories. You could be the next great American novel. I mean, how many of us have read novels that are fiction, but that changed our life? Because underneath that imagination is an actual story there. And we're talking, as you were talking, I was thinking about all the kids I know who have had just these wild imaginations, and they know their imaginations are imaginations. They're not confused over what is reality and what is playtime. But instead of squashing that, what if we nurtured that and allowed them to write and allowed them to tell these stories? And for some people watching, because I know on my channel, whenever we talk about like the new financial system and the fact that our whole relationship with survival is going to change, and people are kind of panicked because they've been conditioned for the matrix, and they've packed away all that. Because I think you're right, Morne. I think kids come out and they're like, this is what I'm here to do. This is what's going on. And then we shove them in school, and that totally gets ripped away from them. And but for everybody going back to that, like, what did you, and I know for me, even when I'm at my parents' house, just looking through old pictures, sometimes I'll remember feelings and I'll remember joy. My cousins, on my mother's side of the family, my mother had 3 sisters, and their parents passed away very young. So growing up, my mother and her sisters did a really good job of keeping us together. And so my cousins on my mother's side, I grew up with them like brothers and sisters, and there were 8 of us. And every summer we would go back to the Low Country, the Charleston area, the beach where my mom's family was from, and we'd all live together in this house. And the 8 of us, we were constantly forcing our poor parents, we were constantly forcing them to watch us put on plays. We would put on plays like every night together. And last month I was at one of my cousins' engagement parties, and we decided, all of my cousins, that we were going to get another house, and we were going to put on a play together as adults. We were going to just do it all over again as adults, because that we love that, just talking about what we used to do as children. and that joy of just playing together and creating. And we would take the towels and make costumes out of towels, and tie things, our father's ties around our head to keep things on. And that is that. So just going back to that innocence, that pure, because and there's trust. You talk about the love, and I kept thinking, like, as adults, we decide, and I see this in something like yoga all the time. As adults, we have this idea that we're going to start something, we're going to be a novice, but yet we can't be a novice. We just have to get it and we have to do it. But it sounds cliche, but there's such learning in the journey. And when you start to trust that love, where you don't feel so insecure, where you allow yourself to stumble and fall and to color outside of the lines a little bit, you never know where that misstep isn't actually a misstep, and it's going to push you in a direction you need to go. And so just in that love, then you have trust. You don't have that insecurity anymore, because you might not know the journey, but there is one. So there's magic there, and that is the mystery too. When speaking of the mysteries, one of my favorite quotes, and I think we all can attest to this over this time period, is the more that I learn, the less I know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said it beautifully there, Brice, because the only video that I could find that I could share with you guys tonight, I was like, is the latest one. And I had a fire staff and I threw it in the air and it fell on the ground. And I've been struggling about, because it's this big staff, it's full of fire, and throw it in the air, it falls on a kid's head, you don't want that stuff in your life. But that night, I was like, no, I'm gonna do it again. And I did it twice afterwards, and I got it right where I caught it. And it's that thing, it's like, it's like, okay, I'm gonna fall and make mistakes, but I'm gonna continue, and then suddenly you get that trust in yourself.
Yeah.
That trust.
Before you share the video, can I ask, how did you learn? How did you find fire dancing? Like,
we
want to know, because it's such a wonderful. When Brice told me that you did fire dancing, I was like an excited little child. I was like, I have got to see this, because
how does one stumble upon this? Like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Wow, I must say, it's super amazing. I met a friend, her name is Zelda Lawrence, and she's got her own company, Evolve Fire Spinning and Performances. She's this amazing chick, and she's like, she could grow to 80 or 90 and she'll still be this young little, and she's just this amazing girl. And we actually met through Chantel as well, because they work together as well. She did her bookings and stuff. And she was just like, one day I was like, oh, awesome, this is fun. And she's like, okay, cool, can I book you for spots? I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And so I didn't really have any real training for it. It just really came naturally. Like I said, I didn't have to learn hard for anything artistic and everything. When I do it, it just happens. Like even yoga. I don't do daily yoga, but when Chantel comes here, I'll do like normal little stretch yogas. But when Chantel comes here and do a powerhouse yoga, I can do all those moves where other people like suffer. So it's just, I'm very lucky. God blessed me.
But you have that trust. I think that's that trust you have. You fall into that center of trust.
I think God had a fail safe with me with certain things. It's like, Morne has enough to deal with in this level. Let's just, you can have this side. But anyways, but once I met her and I did my first show on my 30th birthday, exactly on my 30th birthday, in the rural area of the big city, like, it was amazing. I was with my parents. I was like, okay, I have to go. I'm going to do fire spinning. And it just worked. It just flowed. And that flames, it's so amazing. It's not like when you're dancing on yourself and suddenly when you're dancing with the flames, it just, everybody disappears around you.
I so want to do this. I so want to do this.
It's amazing when that flames goes around you. You start feeling your outer body. It's like you have such respect for that flame. It's passionate. It's like, it's this fire. You can feel the fire burning inside of you whilst you're playing with that fire. You completely lose yourself. It's like, it's something I can't even really express. It's like the first time when I did my first animation. So all my life I'm drawing beautiful pictures and stuff, and then seeing your first character talking and having feelings. You know, it's like, wow, now my picture is actually living and breathing, it's talking. Well, the same with that, with the dancing and starting to dance with fire. Because I did jazz, I did modern freestyle, I did my on the stage dancing in the spotlight stuff, you know, theaters, stuff like that. But when I started playing with fire, it was just completely, and it's one of those two catch scenarios. I'm enjoying it for myself and people around me are igniting. So I don't even have to think about inspiring them with my movements or like whatever. I just connect with the flame and they just get ignited. So dancing with fire, it's beautiful. And there's actually one picture I want to show as well, when I was dancing with fire in the rain with a fire.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to break into the Adele song now, but you don't hear that. So, the other day, just before you show us the video, I can't wait to see it. So I messaged Brice the other evening because all my family were out. And so I had a glass of wine. I put all my songs on and I was dancing in our big lounge to things. And I was really just to Adele, and I give set fire to the rain and everything. And then I messaged Brice and I thought, if anyone could see me now, but the cats enjoyed it. I love it. Quite amused. Yeah. So can you share a video with us then? Can you show us one? Because I'm going to do this.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, it's super badass too, Morne. The fact that you do like you spin this fire, like that is really, I mean, talk about impressive, because I can only imagine having to work your energy with another innate natural energy that is so powerful, you know, to have that respect for that nature and then to
talk about respect
with it.
Talk about respect. Can you see? Is it on?
Yes, it's just the picture's up. Yeah.
So so this is the one with where I was playing with the fire sword in the rain. And it was almost like feeling like I'm cutting through sorrows, cutting through regrets, cutting through, you know, like with the fire, cutting through emotions.
To me, that
transforming them, turning them into like, that night, I can't even tell you what the experience was with dancing in the rain. That's also with the sword.
That makes me emotional.
It really makes me emotional as well, Brice. It's like, to me, that is like the visual representation of, we talk about the divine matrix, the, you know, the connection and everything. And this to me, it's like, you can see the invisible energy. You've now brought that to light of this connection that binds everything. That is just stunning.
Absolutely. It's like dancing with the elements. It's starting to really, you start respecting. Once I started dancing with fire, I started really thinking about the elements. And because I was at that stage very much connected with my spiritual self as well, I was very much aware of fire dogs. Yeah, being aware of where the fire, water. Sorry, you guys.
That's okay.
Yeah, so I was very aware of water, air.
They're excited too.
They're expressing their passion right now too. They're just agreeing with you.
Somebody's walking by the house.
You know what? Okay. We call my dog the sheriff because he does the exact same thing. If anybody dares walk past our house, he's got to inspect it and let you know. So I totally get that. You know, you talk about the spirituality though. Do you feel like it looks like it almost looks ritualistic in a very positive way? Like, do you feel when you're doing these quote unquote performances, like you're actually doing a prayer? You're actually in the process. Do you feel like it changes the vibration of the area where you are or the people around you, and that sort of like majesty of the magic of spiritual ritual practice?
Yeah, absolutely. Can we give me just a second to just go?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go right ahead.
We can talk. It's amazing, isn't it? When you see this is really art in action, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely
it's beautiful, absolutely stunning, and that's pretty amazing photography as well, isn't it?
I don't know if I mean, talk about like being brave. I don't know if I would be brave enough to do what he, like, I think I would have this, I would be like self-conscious about burning myself or burning someone else. The fact that you're able to submit to that movement is so beautiful.
I'm so drawn to this. I just love fire. I've always been so drawn to fire, and it's interesting because I'm not drawn to water at all. So many people, virtually everyone I know apart from me, wants to live on the beach and everything, and I don't. I'm a woods and fire person, and I'm sure it's because I drowned at Atlantis, because I've been drowned as a witch on too many occasions because I really don't like going underwater.
Probably many times.
Fire, when I see the fire, I literally want to go out and start doing this now. Yeah. That's amazing.
Well, Brice, back to the question about the spiritual side. It's the same as when you go into a space where when as a young boy, I was sad. Maybe my mom and dad is fighting or stuff like that. And I would go into my room and I would it was like starting to connect with God. And you like start unloading yourself. And you start connecting to that feeling, and you're like trying to process that feeling, either with singing or starting to dribble a picture or dancing in my room. It's basically the same thing that happens when you start doing, for me, it's when you start doing it, once that you work with that flame, you completely go into that space of you respect your integrity, you're like, so definitely it's like a kind of ritual. And especially this one time year, for me was very special because I was going through stuff here and it started to rain and I was playing for the first time with a fire sword. So it was like kind of like, this for me was definitely where I broke through and transformed stuff inside of me. So it can definitely be used for like a spiritual transformation. And especially with fire, when you do like the poi spinning, like this one with the balls, it really balances your left and right mind. It's like these flames, you like learn to like go with, it balances the left and right mind. So it's very good. I mean, any person can do that just for the benefit of balancing that left and right brain movement and thing. It really opens up stuff, that's for sure.
It's so interesting looking back at the pictures where you said you were going through stuff, and we see these beautiful pictures of just such raw beauty of the elements of the majesty of nature and that movement. And it's interesting, sometimes I think that God allows us to drop into these, it's almost like you have to descend before you can ascend, to drop into this like suffering and pain in order to then reach deep and to find that element of magic that is in that movement you were doing. So it kind of gives you a whole new perspective on suffering and what that can actually, how we can use that energy to help us fuel us and help us grow versus wallowing in it and just staying in that low vibration.
Yeah, transform us, resurrect us. You can use the suffering as the fuel for resurrection.
Yeah.
For me, that's how I see it. It's like the well of love for me. You have to have a deep well in order to fill it with love. So in that deepness is the pain. So the more you're suffering, the more pain you can handle, the more it can be filled with love, and the more passion and the more love and inspiration you will find. And trust me, everybody can dig very deep. You don't need to be in the system, or, I mean, the people that's in the SRA places, I mean, those people had to go deep with stuff. But we all have stuff where we feel insecure, or we feel a lack of worth, or we feel not good enough, or we feel not accepted, or we feel just whatever it is. We all have that same stuff in our life where we felt embarrassed, ashamed, guilt, all that stuff. We all have that. It's not going to go away. And it's not going to help by just doing like, okay, it's fine, I'll do better tomorrow. It's just going to build up more layers and more layers. And it's been doing that since we were small. First embarrassment we have, the first shame we had. But once you get to a place, I think, past your teens and into your 20s, then we have this opportunity where we can start to go and decide, how do we want this foundation to be? What feelings do I want to carry with me to my 30s and stuff like that? And it could be it's a great source of inspiration and creativity. I mean, I think most of the great artists in this world all got their inspiration from the most tragic things in their life.
I mean, that's why we still study Shakespeare. Whoever Shakespeare was, that's a topic for another day. But all the stories of Shakespeare, yeah, it's all the conspiracies around that. The pain that people go through, the stories, the soap opera, it's all the jealousy, the deceit. It's all stuff that we still connect to in a different time, because human beings are always we've been consistently experiencing this same human condition. And how beautiful is that we can actually, if we look at the bad guys in our world right now, they don't want us to transform that. They don't want us to be able to find that alchemy. I love how you said that alchemy of taking that yuck and using it to make something beautiful that actually heals you. That's beautiful alchemy.
Yeah, that is our goal. Like Chantal likes to say, it's our gold. All that stuff is our gold. The stuff that we like to avoid, the stuff we don't want to deal with, the stuff they like to build on and keep us away from is our goal. Embracing our fears, embracing our guilts, embracing our shames, embracing all that stuff and finding the truth. And that's what I spoke earlier about finding that truth to express yourself. That was my journey with everything like that, with all of this. I was trying to express myself. I didn't feel like people could understand myself. So firstly, I had to find a safe space where I can express myself with my connection with God, even though it wasn't always conscious, but as I know now, that's what I was doing back then. I had to have this space where I could go in my room and dance, sing, create, and that made me feel connected and understood, and I could feel expressed. And that was my fuel to go out there. And that's what I used. I used the gifts that I had. I took it out there and tried to connect with the world as growing up. Now, this is what I know how to do. So I'm going to use this maybe this will help me to connect with, my father or whatever you want to do. But
I think one of the reasons why I've always been so drawn to cats, you touched on earlier, Morne. Oh, what's happened? Oh, I froze then. Something happened then. You touched on earlier about maintaining this curiosity. And I'm pretty obsessed with cats, always have. I can remember when as a child, we managed to get our first cat in the house, and my parents moved house specially so that they could live somewhere as safe as possible for a cat, because we all know cats wander wherever they want to, and we wanted to be as far away from roads as possible. And I've got 5 cats at the moment. They're all absolutely amazing, but their curiosity, they say curiosity killed the cat, but their beautiful curiosity every minute of every day, of where they're exploring everything around them and taking such joy in that. And when you watch a cat exploring something, they're so in the present moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't distract them because they're so focused, and they're in their own little world, and everything's exciting to them and everything's fun. And when you look at, say, children nowadays, where there's this constant stimulation all the time, and you were touching earlier, Brice, about what beautiful imagination children has got. Well, animals don't need a lot of toys to play with things. They will completely create their own fun and excitement and entertainment, and so will young children if you allow them to. But now we're filling their lives with electronics and phones. I was mentioning to someone the other day that you go around the supermarket and there's children of 2 that are playing on mobile phones because they can't even go around. And a supermarket for a young child, it's like colors everywhere and shapes and sounds. It should be a really stimulating place. But I think getting back to this curiosity, being curious about everything, that I think everyone who watches any of our work, they're curious. Those are the people who haven't lost their curiosity, because if they had, they wouldn't be watching us. But it's so important. And when you maintain that curiosity, you can find joy, excitement, passion in almost anything, can't you?
Yeah. And it's also about exploring that curiosity, not just leaving it. I think it's, like cats, I've also got 5. Curiosity does kill the cat in that sense, because sometimes you can be curious about the wrong things.
Yes.
You know, you can be like, no. So it's all back to intentions. It's about finding that intention. So that's what I said in the beginning. If your intention, if your decision is to find passion, then you'll find it. But if your decision is to find passion because I want to mean something, or I want to prove something, or want to be something other than what you're not, then you're not going to find it. You're going to lose it. So if your curiosity can lead you to like astray, but it can, so you have to, everything can be used for the good and the bad. Obviously, that's what these people have done with us. And you can, your passion, you could be passionate about something, or you could be passionate about being right. And then suddenly that passion starts becoming this fire of destruction instead of this fire of inspiration.
Yeah.
So in the same way with curiosity, it's, you can either be curious about just, you know, not, but you have to go take action. You have to go explore the ones that you really, you have to go find the love. And if your intentions are not aligned, then you're going to be like the curious cat that the eagle just caught because it was chasing a bunny. Yes. Or something like that. Oh, I sometimes my nerves when I see my cats. It's like something when you have cats, you really learn to trust and let go. You just have to trust that cat will go out, just like our parents probably with teenagers. Yeah. that kid will come back and it will still have all its arms and legs. And
it's terrifying. The difference in personalities. My husband, who I've spoken about a lot, he's so laid back, his correspondent. So curled up here on the side here, I've got Idris and Pumpkin, two of my cats, and then Fluffy Duffy over by the fire. But Idris is unbelievable. He came from Romania. He's the coolest dude I've ever met in my life. He follows us on every dog walk miles away. He goes miles. He might disappear off for 3 days at a time. And my husband's completely laid back about it. He's just off having fun. And me as his mummy, I'm just like, where's my baby? And thank God for the animal communication. But you are so right, Morne. It's that, you know, trusting, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because when I work with clients and they've got house cats, it's just so tragic. It's just so, because of all the animals you've got, cats just need to move, stretch, explore, be. Yeah. But as a cat mum or dad, it can be horrifying at times.
So. Completely. I must say, since I started learning animal communication, it's been 10 times better, because now at least I can WhatsApp my, where are you? Where are you going? It's like, okay, cool, you're there, okay, it's fine. Even when I go to other towns and stuff, when I'm away for the weekend, I'll be just like, okay, how are you? Actually, they will contact me. Cats don't, they'll contact you if they really need something. I can remember this one time my cat contacted me and she's like, I haven't had my treats yet. I'm like, okay, cool. I called the person that was looking at my house. I'm like, okay, Mama, she's saying she hasn't had a treat yet. He's like, oh, I forgot. And he went to the kitchen and Mama was sitting exactly there where the treats should be.
Yeah.
So the animal communication helps. And I also had this experience where I lost one of my beautiful black boys. I searched for him for 3 months and I was like everywhere. And usually I find people's animals very quickly, but it was just so hard because he was like moving and moving. And eventually dogs got him, you know, dogs finally got to him. And if it wasn't for animal communication, I wouldn't have had that closure, you know. I wouldn't have known that some old lady is holding him in his house or blah, blah, blah. So I really think, and that's part of the heart chakra thing, the heart opening thing, where we're going as a civilization now, the 5D, people would call it the 5th dimension, is where we can actually start to talk to the animals, to nature spirits and all. It's where we can actually, that's where we have that connection. And through passion and creativity and connecting with what you love and just fueling those places inside of us, we get to this place where it opens up. And I was, again, I would say I'm really blessed and lucky because I really had this strong connection with God since a very young boy, very young boy. I always had this connection with God, but it wasn't about God. It was about what God wanted me to, or not even God wanted me to do, what I wanted to do. And obviously, and that was in alignment. Obviously, you want to do the best, you know, you want to do the most, you want to share. I think that's every kid. I mean, every kid wants to do whatever it's fun at its best and share with my friends and don't see my body being hurt. I mean, that's part of everybody. I think it's not a superhero thing. That's a hero god complex thing. It's a real authentic thing. Human beings care about each other and want each other to see each other happy. We want to share our gifts. I think finding your passion is one thing, and then finding your purpose in that is another thing, and then giving that away is the ultimate thing, sharing that. So how do you give that away? How do you, and that for me is with what me and Chantal is doing with the kids, the soul school.
Yeah.
So I'm using my gifts, the creativity in the books and ideas and stuff, and putting animals and humans together, bringing nature and humans together again. That for me is now the ultimate passion, the ultimate purpose, because all those gifts, all the dancing, singing, everything aligns to one great purpose that affects a lot more. So I think that's every human being, that's our ultimate goal, is to find our purpose and then give it away, and then share that passion, share that purpose, because it's lonely when you just keep it to yourself. That's why all the bad guys are bored and just want more planes and just want more in the crowd, whatever they want. But yeah, I think that's.
Can I ask, if somebody wanted to like explore the type of fire dancing you do now? Obviously, you're not in America. We're all in 3 different countries. Is there like an organization people can look at to find in their area? Is there like, I mean, I don't even know how this works. Is this like, you know, like if someone wants to do yoga, they can just Google yoga in their area. Is there something for people to look for if they wanted to explore what you do in their own home country?
Yeah, I think most places should have fire sprayers. I think most places they should be. They probably more hide it behind circuses or trance parties or something like that. But the place I work for, or the friend I work with, Evolve Fire Spinning, I can give you guys the link as well.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
So fire spinning, is that a good keyword for people to look in their search for fire spinning? Okay, so now I know we're gonna have people that are gonna just love to explore this, because, and this is the beautiful thing about doing this series, because how many passions are out there that we don't even know exist?
Yeah,
like so many people probably have no idea that this actually even exists.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you Google it, you will find like tutorials like easy first steps fire spinning. I'm sure if you Google it, you will find all kinds of videos, tutorials, videos.
It makes me laugh, Morne, because in the UK, again, one of the other things we're quite well known for is our health and safety. So you probably can't. In the UK, they'd probably make you do it with fake. But it's a bit like, you know, I suppose, you know, with gymnastics is almost with the ribbons with like the fake fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but there's so many ways for people to explore it. And I would say, you know, sometimes you've got to take those risks, guys, you know, with you, you don't want to be faking it. You want to be working with the real stuff, but don't blame us if you set fire to yourself. Okay.
Exactly.
I would say make sure you have a teacher, right, Morne, when you first start doing it. Make sure you have somebody there guiding you.
Well, if you just practice this, like you can practice with socks with balls in, long socks with balls in. So just practice. Once you get it right, then don't be scared to burn, baby. Once you feel you've got the sock balls ready, then get you those fireballs, and it's a beautiful experience once you start feeling the flames going around your body, and you're just engulfed, and you're just like in the center of this like fireball. So yeah, but you won't burn down, you'll just burn your hair, maybe get a little bruise.
It'll grow back. It'll grow back.
Well, next week we'll be bald. But we'll have had fun in the process. So yeah. Oh,
if people want to follow your work, Morne? Can we put your social media links down below to follow your journey and see your performances? I know we're all in different countries, but to kind of keep up with you and use you as inspiration, as a muse for people who want to.
Sure, yeah, definitely. I'll give you my links. Yeah, I'll send you my links. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
but do you know that I could literally keep talking to you two all night?
Yeah, I definitely.
That has exceeded any expectations I had in terms of that discussion, and I think we can be 100% sure you are one passionate person. So what a perfect way to start off our series. And I know we'll be asking you back as well, because I've got a list of so many things I want to speak to you about. Particularly animal communication, actually, because everyone knows that's a real passion of mine. So but anything else that you want to share with us, either of you two, before we finish? Morne first.
I just want to say, well, I'm going to just say thank you, you two, for inviting me, and thank you for you two to got me thinking about passion in a different way, because I really had to think about it when you invited me, how it really flows inside of you, and how inspiration and how purpose, I could really see how passion could be destructive and also constructive. So thank you for that, because I had a little inner journey again in the last couple of days. And I just want to say thank you. Well, for the audience, I would like to say, you can do it. You can find it. It's there. It's not that hard. Just smell out the love, and yeah, smell the love, find the love, be the love. Love will take you there. And it might sound very hippie, airy fairy hippie like in a way, but actually it's very true. But just, you got to be true of yourself with it. Really honest with yourself, even if it means you have to like just first go through some uncomfortable things. But find that love. Don't ever let anything stop you from finding that love inside of you, and go dig so deep into that place if you have to. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to stop there. You've got the love, just go find it, and the passion will arise. And
Well,
thank
I'm
you.
going to say, one day when all this is over and we're in that new earth, I hope that you're able to tour around Morne and go all over the world and show people live the power of your passion, because I've gotten to know you through Aquarius Rising Africa, and you're just such a genuinely authentic, such a bright light anyway. And it's just such an honor to be in both of your presence, like to be on this journey with both of you. So thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Brice. From one bright light to another.
Exactly. And I thank you so much, anyone who's watching this. Brice and I have had the most amazing response for people wanting to share their passions. I'm really sorry I haven't got back to any of you yet. We have both been, after Christmas, so snowed up. I'm so behind with my emails. So please know we're not ignoring any of you. And if it takes us a couple of weeks to get back to you, we will do. So we appreciate each and every one of you who's sort of volunteered to come on and share your passions, because we can't wait to hear about all of them. So until next week, thank you from all of us. Thank you so much, Morne. And we will be back soon. Let us know how you enjoyed this, folks. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.